students of maths, can you help him? Yes, yes, who is talking? Maybe they didn't hear your question because they seem to be quiet. Can you repeat your question for them?
Okay, my question is, looking at the steps you already talked about, that's the what, how, and why. Can it also be the rationale in measurements when it comes to mathematics? That is, rationale as to why we undergo or we undertake such steps, as in what we need to make measurements, and then how assessment or measurement should be done, and then why. Can also be attributed as a rationale.
All right. So can the measurement steps be attributed to be the rationale of assessment? Sorry, anybody to answer him? Yes, Alex Donko, can you help us?
Please, assessment cannot be the rationale.
Okay.
The rationale is something about what you want them to know, or the subject that you are coming to talk about, what actually makes up that subject. So rationale and assessment, they are two different things.
Okay, thank you very much. So what Donko mean is that the rationale and then assessments and the measurement steps are two different things. But you can see that, Stephen, you can see that the why of assessment can also be fit into some aspect of the rationale, because why are you engaging in this measurement? Why are you conducting that measurement? You can see you can fit the why into the rationale. Can you see that, Stephen? I think
Yes,
I made mention that.
Yes, sir.
But not
Yes,
the general one. What, for instance, the first step, which is what you are going to measure, it's not the rationale. You understand that? That's maybe the C part you can fit. Okay. So if there's no question for that, that will be the end of section 2. We can now move on to section 3 of today. Okay, section 3. Okay, I have to open another material. Okay. So I stop sharing my screen and then I share the session 3. Jamina Akenten, how are you?
So I'm fine, thank you, sir.
It's a long time. We met last year.
Yes, sir.
And we are back here again.
Yes, sir.
We are sorry that they wanted to remove your name from the university, and sorry for that. You remember?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. All right, so we can now start with the section 3. Oh, not the section 3. Yeah, section 3 is here. Yeah, definition of evaluation, section 3. So now if you look at what definition of assessment is, we have also looked at what is measurement. So that's 23. Okay, so we are going to section 3, which is definition of evaluation. What is evaluation? Before we code that, can somebody tell us what do you understand by evaluation before we start? Evaluation, what's coming to your mind when you say evaluation? Yakubu Isa. Evaluation.
Yeah, when we say evaluation, is the process of making judgment about student performance using a collected data.
Okay. Thank you. Any other person making judgment about student performance? Any other person with another idea? Jamina, can you go ahead?
Sir, it's like interpreting the results of the assessment that you have done.
Okay, interpreting the results of the assessment that you have quantified, right?
Yes, please.
All right, that's okay. Beauty. Last year you were using your name Beauty. I advise you to write the correct name. You know, sometimes we do award marks, those who contribute better.
Lisa, that's my name.
Oh, yeah, beauty. Yeah, that was true. But add the other name so it will be complete. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. Beauty.
So, evaluation is the process of making the judgment and determining the value of the performance.
Okay, making judgments and determine the value of performance. All right,
Based
maybe.
on the evidence collected.
All right, based on the evidence collected. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So let's quickly look at evaluation, and then since you have a fair idea, don't need to waste much time. So by the end of this session, you should be able to define and explain what is meant by evaluation. I've already talked about that. And then you should also be able to state and explain the two types of evaluation. We are going to look at two main types of evaluation. According to this course, it doesn't mean that is the only two types we have. Some other field, they may have different types, but based on according to this course, and then you should be able to differentiate between evaluation and assessment. Now we know the difference between assessment and measurement. Remember, one of them is quantifying data, using data is measurement. If you want to quantify assessment data, and then we have assessment. So by the end of this session, you should be able to tell us the three main different, the difference between the three: assessment, measurement, and evaluation. You should be able to know that. Okay. So we move on to evaluation. Okay, evaluation is the systematic process of determining the merit, value, and worth of someone. And the someone we are determining the value or the worth is what we call the evaluee. You have an evaluee, and then or something, maybe not human being, so maybe object. It can be a performance of a car. You want to compare the evaluate the Tesla car to with this fuel car we have, or the chargeable one with those hybrid one, or the fuel type or the engine type. So that one also becomes the evaluant. That is one something. Okay, so this one was retrieved from the Michigan University. So that's the definition. So as evaluation, in conclusion, just say the evaluation is judgmental, dealing with how well a student does relative to some standard. You have some standard, and then you want to measure students' performance against that standard, and then based on that, you can give the result, or you can say this student has performed this student has performed this, because the standard is there that we are going to use to measure. Most of the foreign exams are used, they have a standard measure of your result. That is why when we want to apply for most universities in the US and Europe, they want you to change your result for evaluation, or send your result for evaluation, and you need to pay money for them to compare with their standard, the general standard they have accepted. Okay, so that is evaluation. Now we can talk about types of evaluation. I'm going to allow somebody to take us through types of evaluation because they are very, very important. Basically, we have two main types of evaluation as I talk about. So the first one is formative evaluation. Who is taking us through formative evaluation? Formative evaluation. Yes, types of evaluation. One is formative evaluation. Yes, Stephen again, Abdallah San. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Abdallah, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Go ahead.
Just as rightly mentioned, we have two forms of evaluations. We have the formative and the summative. But I just want us to look at the formative evaluation. Now, with the formative evaluation, per my understanding, I think it is a type of evaluation that takes place during teaching and learning. Now, as rightly mentioned here, they are saying that the process, or this is the process of judging the value of teaching and learning constantly. So just as I said, during teaching and learning, whatever form of evaluation that takes place, is known as a formative what kind of evaluation. Now, it also occurs at each unit or at the end of a topic. Then it also provides feedback to both teacher and the student about the teaching and learning that has taken place in the class. Then we also have it saying that it also helps to improve the teaching and learning process. So while teaching and learning is ongoing, the teacher is able to know the strengths and weaknesses of whatever lesson is being delivered. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, son. Maybe somebody want to add something? All right. Thank you very much. Maybe I add something small. That's well explained. So you should be very careful about this too. Formative evaluation and then summative one. We talk about the second one. As he has made mention, it's going on constantly. Formative, the ongoing process. When we are teaching this evaluation, as a teacher here, if you don't do this form of evaluation, then I'm sorry, you are trying not to be a good teacher. Let's try to be a good teacher, because formative evaluation is very, very, very important. So it occurs at each unit or end of a topic. At each unit, so you are starting your teaching. You start. You're teaching quadratic function, and then you start with the definition of quadratic function. You give them the function. Let's say we are using we have two ways of doing it. Maybe you want to use the completing the squares method. You express it to the general form. Maybe you're able to express f of x. You're giving them the quadratic function f of x equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. And then you have been able to express this one as, I'm not really sure, but let's say x plus p squared plus k, where p equals to something, k equals to something. That is using completing the squared method. You're able to do something like this. And then you are done with quadratic function. Now you want to look at quadratic graphs or something. You want to do curves. It's better to give them exercise here. Do something here about what you have done before you move on to another one. Before you do that, then you are doing what you call formative. It's ongoing. So the process of judging, develop, teaching, and learning constantly. You don't need to finish before you do. You are doing the whole quadratic function. Some of you in high school or primary school, junior high school, you start with a topic quadratic equations. You finish factorization method, completing the squares method, quadratic formula approach. You go to quadratic functions, quadratic curves, quadratic graphs. You combine everything. At the end of the day, you now give them exercise. Some of them don't even do. They teach about 5 topics. Then they give exercise or exams or quiz at the end of the semester before their final exam. That does not help. As a good teacher, you should give them exercise constantly, whatever topics, even if you cannot mark. I used to love my teacher very much. May his soul rest in peace in high school. What he does is that after teaching us, he will give us, after every concept, he give us 2 or 3 to try. When he thinks he cannot mark, he tell us to share with our colleagues. Then he will solve it on the board, or somebody will come and solve. Then he mark it. Then based on that, we all mark for our other people, colleagues, in their notebooks, not exercise books, sometimes in their notebooks. That is okay. So you are trying to help them to catch up with what you are doing. So as a teacher, let's try to practice this formative form of evaluation. Okay, it occurs at each unit or end of a topic, so that you don't combine 2 topics or 3 topics to go and do. Maybe inside the topic, each unit you do one quadratic function, you do it, quadratic equation, completing the squares method, you do it. How do you call it? Factorization method, you do it each unit, or maybe at the end of, or you do it before you go to another topic. Because when you do that, you get a constant feedback. You got constant feedback as for you, the teacher, and the student. And then it will also help you. Imagine if you've taught quadratic formula and then they cannot do it better. How do you move on to factorization method? You have to solve that issue before you move ahead to the other one. That is why it says that it also helps you improve teaching and learning process. It is very, very important. All right. I saw hand up. Normally we don't ask, but let's go ahead. Beauty.
Thank you, sir. So
Go ahead.
please, From my understanding of this formative evaluation, can I say it's a form of assessment?
Formative evaluation, is it a form of assessment? Oh, that's a very good question. Can somebody help us? Is it a form of assessment? Yes. We have Isamoro.
Yes, please. Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. So, Beauty, don't worry, we are going there. We're looking at a difference between evaluation and assessment right away, and I'm sure you can see that they are not far much different. When you look at the definition of assessment I gave to you here, evaluation rather is a systematic process of determining the merit, value, and worth of someone. And I made mention here, a judgment are dealing with how well a student does relative to some standard. Now, if you don't conduct assessment, how will you know the student has performed well? You have to do assessment, and based on that, you can evaluate the behavior of the student. So you see, one is a subset of one. The evaluation assessment, is a subset of the other. Like one is two-set problem, one is three-set problem, something like that. So we are going to look at
Thank you, sir.
yeah. But I want her to finish. That is why sometimes we finish before we ask question with the winning. So let's go ahead. And then we have for yes, I was here. So we talk about that. And then we look for the second type of evaluation, which is summative. The name happens summative at the end. At the end. This is the process of judging the value of teaching and learning at the end of the period. It can be term, it can be the school year or phase of education. The term or phase of education. The phase of education can be BC. At the end of 3 years, you write WASI. At the end of the 3 years, you write BC, phase of education. So at the end of the period, or it can be period of instruction. Maybe you write it first term, second term, every term, or maybe at the end of the year. My school that time we used to write weekly exams, and that was period of instruction. Weekly exams. Every week we write. The whole school writes. Every Friday we write exams. Yes. So that can be a term. It can be weekly, or because at the end of that period or set, and then summative evaluation determines the extent to which the broad objective of teaching and learning have been achieved, because it's broader than the assessment, because it must be broad to achieve. That is BEC. At the end of the day, the students' standard in core mathematics is this. The student get B2 in core mathematics means that not only quadratic equation, not only graph work, or not only two-set problem, the whole core mathematics syllabus. That's what we believe that students have gotten this. The whole of accounting syllabus. This is the student's achievement. So actually it's very broad. It's very broad. So that is the evaluation, summative evaluation. And then we can also have for assessment versus evaluation. The difference are here. So that is my lady, that is a beauty. So we can see them here, that assessment and evaluation. The first one is maybe you can talk about the formative. So assessment is actually a formative process, ongoing. You keep on doing. As I said, it should be ongoing, but the evaluation should be summative, final, to gauge quality. So when we are learning, I was mentioned I should do evaluation whilst you are teaching, but when you are doing that assessment, you remember assessments is a subset of evaluation. So when you are teaching, and we are doing assessment, at the end of the day, based on that, we can evaluate the performance of the student. So when you are teaching, you keep on doing, and then at the end of that topic, you also have to do evaluation to evaluate your student. And then assessment is process oriented, how learning is going on. You can also say that product oriented, what's been learned, because assessment normally how learning is going, you just want to aid teaching and learning process. And then what's been learned, you do it You do evaluation at the end of the topic or a session or a unit, and then you see that the students' results will tell you, oh, they have learned this, they are good in completing the squares method. Now I can move on to quadratic graph. They are good in, I'm done teaching factorization method. I've done assessment and they are good. So based on my evidence, or based on my evaluation I've done, the students are good in factorization method. I can now move on to quadratic formula. So it is depends. Somebody can also finish the whole topic and do it together at the end of the instructional period. That's okay. It can be at the end of the section or at the end of the whole topics together. And then you can also talk about diagnostic. Assessment is, I don't know, it's like the president is passing, there's too much noise here. All right, so diagnostic, identify areas for improvement. That is actually assessment in classroom. For instance, when you are teaching and then you ask the question at the end of place, you just try to ask question or give them some assessments to see. Now you realize that they couldn't do well. Now you see that area is lacking. Now how do I improve it? You need to improve that area. But to improve that area, you need to do small assessment. But in order for you to make judgment, that is overall grade or score, you have to evaluate the students. That is why they say I'm grading them, and that grade is going to help you to evaluate their grade, overall grade or score. So that is the assessment and evaluation. Assessment, evaluation defined, and if you look at the formative and summative assessment, and then also the clear distinction between assessment and evaluation. And you see that one is a subset of the other. All right. Any question? Addition, subtraction. Okay, so we can now move on to the section 4 of today. Assessment is not like mathematics, so it's easy to move faster than where we need to write a lot. So I think you can see. Okay, so maybe I will allow you to teach this section 4 for me, where we have so many points. Okay, section 4. We want to look at purpose of assessment. So after the purpose, I will allow you to teach the purpose. By the end of this, of the section, now remember, we've talked about assessment, we've talked about measurement, we've talked about evaluation. Now, why do you even conduct assessment at all? So state and explain. By the end of this section, you should be able to state and explain purposes of assessment in mathematics. And then when you're able to know the purpose, we should also know who are the users of the assessment you have conducted. You are the users of the assessment you have conducted. All right. So we start with the purpose of assessment. Please, everybody is going to just tell us one. You take one, you explain quickly, just brief summary, and then we move ahead. Yes, the first one, purpose of accountability. Yes, who is helping us? Purpose of accountability. Rosemary Mensa. Yeah. So after Rosemary, maybe you prepare. Rosemary will take the first one. I see only Rosemary hand. Who again? So that Rosemary first one, Steven second, so that it will be flowing. Yakubu third, and then the fourth one is Inti Felix, and then the fifth one will be I don't know, I've not seen the number, but let's start with the Rosemary, then we go to Steven, and then Inti. Rosemary, can we start with the first one?
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Hello, sir.
Yes. So
Please, this is Prosper. This is
Prosper.
Prosper Danso boy instead of Rosemary.
Then the name is okay. That's okay.
Yeah. My phone got spoiled, so I'm using my wife phone.
That is okay. So Mrs. Rosemary Prosper, go ahead.
Okay, so one purpose of the assessment is the accountability.
Okay.
So the assessment is used by stakeholders to hold teachers and school authorities accountable for students' learning. So when we talk about this accountability, we talk about how the students are performing and how they are not performing to show the improvement of the school. Thank you.
All right. how they are performing and how they are not performing to show the improvement with the school. That's okay. So you can talk about, do you remember that, maybe I add something small to that, the accountability. Thank you very much, Prosper. But do you remember, we all remember that assessments here, some schools, sometimes GS will say that this school headmaster should come and explain why they didn't perform well, why the student performance are very bad, because the GS can ask your school, they can question you. The University of Cambridge can question some lecturers or some department. Why are your students performing so poorly at the end of the result? They can question the HOD about the department, the students are failing. Why? Other department, they are progressing. Your department are this and this and this. So assessment is purpose of accountability. It's very, very important. And then your parents can also ask you to account upon all the investment and every books you request for. Somebody was going to all the books, you know, the stories, all the books have been requested for. These are the results you produce. You have to account to your parents. All right. Thank you. Can you go to the second person, improve learning?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, please.
So here with improved learning, the information obtained and the judgment made thereof are mainly to ensure that students' learning outcomes improve. So in the mathematics classroom, this will mean that the aim of assessing students is to use the results obtained to diagnose students' strengths and weaknesses in order to decide how to proceed with the subsequent instruction. So it's going to help the teacher, both the teacher and the students also to know that, one, their strengths and weaknesses are in line with how the teaching and learning processes are ongoing, either before, during, and after the lesson.
All right, thank you very much. That is to improve learn. I think it's okay, and we are well understood that every teacher here you should use assessment to improve learning. The results you obtain from your assessment, don't go. Please, let's not try to make our students feel like they are not good. You know, most of the behaviors of our teachers is the reason why some students are not performing, because they normally kind of words you give to them. The students are looking at us very well. Some of them, you are the role models for the students. You are their everything. So the words that come from your mouth can just make them feel so depressed that they cannot even learn again. Imagine the students just looking up on you so much, and that everything you are doing, the students imitating. You know, they imitate us from school. So that's why teachers, you should behave very well in school. You don't need to be fighting, talking. You are in class, you got a call, you are talking, you got a call, your wife or your husband has maybe provoked you small. You have small, you know, it's part of life from home. And now you're in classroom, and then you are talking on top from home, your family issues. The students are watching you. So let's behave such that the student will imitate from us very well. So now the question is, to improve learning. Now you see that the students, a certain student is not good, they get 0. They are born, or you are not good. While your colleagues are getting good grade and you are getting 0. When you do that, it can just cause the students' interest in doing mathematics. The person getting 0 doesn't mean that a crown one born and answer the student is not, the student is bad. No. Maybe it's you, the teacher, the teaching methodology. And remember, we don't learn equally. The fact that you are teaching methodology or your teaching approach is favoring some student doesn't mean that it can favor every student. No. So let's try to work on that so that those students who get good, bad grade, we improve them, we encourage them, we make them laugh, feel love, like we treat them equally. And there are some teachers, they will never send students who are performing weakly in the classroom. They only send those who are the brilliant ladies or guys in the classroom. All those students who are getting good grade, always they call them to send them, go and buy me this, go and buy me this. It's like the students who are weak academically, they don't even ask anything from them. And that can become very bad. If you're a teacher and you're doing that, I think it's very bad. We should learn not to do that. What we should do is that those students who we think academically they are not good, they are those we should bring them closer to us more than those who are good. Yes, you should bring them much closer to you so that they will feel like, okay, because already they are depressed. The students also go through a lot. You have been a student before, you know. They are already depressed. When their colleagues are getting 190, 70, they are getting 0, 5, 10. They're already depressed. When they get their paper, they cannot even show to everybody. There are so many things going through in their mind in the classroom there. And now you also try to isolate them. It becomes so bad. So try as much as possible, such that the weak student, you always try to bring them closer to you, talk to them. You see that with time, for the love they get from you, it can change them completely. All right, so let's move on to the third one. So that's about to improve learning. And then we have to make guidance and counseling decisions. Yes, the third person, can you explain for us?
All right, sir. With the third point, which is to make guidance and counseling decision. So when you write or when you run an assessment program for your students, you get to know those who are weak and those who are, I mean, the strength of the students. I mean, so those who are weak, maybe you sit them down and consult to know their problem. Maybe it may be from the house or something like that. So you know the reason why they are not performing, and those who are also the strength, or those who are, I mean, strong, you also guide them as to how to go by their things like the future, their occupation, and others. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. The guidance and counseling decisions are very important. Like what I've already made mention is also part, because we need to make guidance and counseling decisions. Sometimes you recommend the guidance and counseling. I've recommended about 3 students before too. Our guidance and counseling madam in my school. I was teaching in Sims High School back at then. So I used to recommend students. When I see the students are very weak, I'll try my best in classroom. I was also a form tutor, a form master. I'll try and try. When it doesn't work, sometimes you recommend the students. Those students are very critical. They are going through a lot. When you can get closer to them and talk to them like brotherhood or sisterhood, you can see that when they start telling you their stories or something, you can see that they are really, really going through. So sometimes the guidance is not only for those who are weak, it can also for those who are good, so that you can recommend them. Because I think you are good. You are now in second year, the results you are doing, I think you can write WC and then you can proceed in life. Or you can, it's better you go and pursue this course at university or this and this, because based on your result. So we should make sure we cater for all the students. It's very important. And we move on to for certification. For certification. Yes. Who is taking us through that one? Certification. Please, let's be quick. Certification. Are we here? Those who are not talking, what is happening? Are you taking your breakfast? Okay, Mr. Jamina, go ahead.
Yeah, so for certification, at the end of the assessment, you need to give your student certificate whether the person has moved to the next level or has completed the whole course. It's like BEC. At the end of the BEC, you need to give the child certificate that he has completed the whole course of the basic level. And when the person moves to the next level 2, you give the person certificate as well.
All right. Thank you for certification. As you are here, you know that you are doing all these assessments, results. You do quiz, you do presentation, you pass through a lot. At the end of the day, University of Cape Coast will give you certificates. Not only UCC, every university, BC, WASI, what have you, they will give you a certificate. And that certificate is what can now make you move to another level, evidence of showing that you have gone through this program or this course. All right, thank you very much. That is the end of this unit 4. Any question, session 4 rather, any questions? All right, there's no question contribution. The Kumasi people, you just join us. I don't hear from you. Samson, you have question?
Okay, sir. I wanted to ask whether report card can be part of certificate or certification.
All right, thank you. Report cards. Can report cards be certificate? You know, we give the student reports. You mean the reports you give to them at the end of every semester?
Yes, please.
All right. I think it's a good question. Yes, can somebody explain? Yes, Steven, you want to answer that? Is it part of certification? And we say report cards. You see, sometimes when you ask me a question, I throw back to you. Please make sure you use this strategy in math class. Don't, teacher, you should not be in rush. Don't be in rush. No. So then ask you a question, quickly you answer, especially when you happen to teach the science student, PE math student, commerce. Some of the students are very good. Sometimes they ask critical questions. So you always throw the question back to them. When they are answering, you can now see where they are going. You can now come in. So always make your students answer questions in class. All right. The report cards. Abdallah, you want to answer that question?
Yes, I want to.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Abdallah, I mentioned your name. Just go ahead first.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. With the report cards and the SBAs, I think these are forms of let's just say temporal certifications that is given to the wards or the learners to present to their parents for them to be able to also know the way forward, or let's say their level of improvement as to whether maybe they are making progress in their stay in the school or they are not. So I think it is a form of a certificate, at least, that gives out information within a particular period. That is, let's just say, for a term. Because in my school, for instance, we give out the SBAs and also the cumulative record books for them to show them to their parents, bring them back for the next term's activity. So I think it is a form of, let's just say, a temporal kind of a certificate. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Because of time, when you talk about certificate, we can have so many forms of certificate. Even if you go for a workshop, you give you certificate for the completion of that workshop, or for even certificate for attendance. Yes. Certificate for showing up, everything they can give you certificate. But let's be careful about how we define certificate in academia. Academic certificate may be different from any other certificate. So the report cards, fine, you want to call certificate, but it is not on. That's why it is report cards showing you the students' result in the semester, and then so more, it looks like form of transcript. You see, it have their results and just semester basis with their results. So we cannot, as he said, maybe temporary certificate is okay, but putting them as a full certificate in academics, it does not, because certificate shows something of complete. We only issue certificate when we are done, completed. If you don't complete that thing, they don't give you a certificate. Therefore, semester, you are not done with the school. You are just on first or second or third semester. So they cannot give certificate. They give you something to show the stage where you have reached in the school. I think that is how it is. Are you okay with the person? Are you okay?
Okay.
All right. So we move on to section 5 quickly because of time.
So before you go, I want to see the objectives. There were 2 objectives, but it seems I didn't get the second one.
Oh, objective 2 objective. Identify various uses of assessment information.
Yes, please.
Oh, so I didn't add that one. So we didn't see the uses of assessments. We didn't see the uses of assessments over there.
Yes, please.
Oh, so that becomes. Did we learn something about for placement?
Yes, please.
We made mention of something about placement, selection, and placement.
Okay.
Okay, can somebody tell us some of the uses of the assessment? Or maybe I added that one to, maybe I added to another slide, but the uses of assessment. Once you made mention of the placement, we have talked about them. Yes, Bill.
Yeah. I would say one would be a teacher. A teacher can use assessment to know the level of
Okay, teachers. And then who else again? Because we added them about the placement and other stuff. So teachers can be one of the users. What else again?
And also,
you taught them.
parents.
You just
Parents can use the assessment. Parents. Okay, Bernard, go ahead.
Like I said, parent is one of the assessment uses.
All
For
right.
example, the okay, let me end it.
All right. All right. It's fine. Isamoro, can you proceed?
Yes, sir.
Isamoro, you
So,
want?
please,
Mhm.
students themselves too can also be the users of the assessment because
All right. Mhm.
they will base on it to see whether they are improving or they are declining in education.
Okay. That's okay. Students, all right. Who else again? Yes. Do you have another one again? There's something I want to hear, but I don't hear. Something, Kwame.
Thank you, sir. The I can say GS or the government is also the user. For example, BEC assessments help us to make placements for
All
selection
right.
of schools and those things.
All
So
right.
I can.
So the government, okay. And then another one, last important one, Jonas.
So the school authority
All
also
right.
needs the assessment to
Thank
know
you
how
very
far the student is
much.
moving. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So you cannot talk without adding the stakeholders and then the institutions, various institutions, like University of Cape Coast, before they can give you admission here, they know to know your results and other stuff. And then before they can place you on a program, they need to know your result from the assessment and then other stuff. So the stakeholder, the institutions are also part, as you say, the schools are also part. Okay. And because of time, let's quickly look at unit 5, session
Sir,
5, rather. Yes,
please,
Anja.
please before you continue, I wanted to ask, for the purposes of accountability,
Mhm.
can we consider outputs of work as an example of that?
Can you explain? Can you ask your question? Can you consider what output of work?
Yeah, what I mean is that
Mhm.
in our various schools, the heads expect every teacher weekly you go uh, assessments that you do to the learners so that the head will know whether you are actually up to task or not. So most of the time, every week you have to present your outputs of work, the number of exercises you give the learners, and those things all.
Okay. So, and then now we understand what you mean. So your question is,
Can we
output
consider it as a purposes of accountability?
accountability. Oh, that's good. All right, all right. I think that is very good. Some schools they have you have to you'll be looking at SBE, school-based assessment and other stuff. Every week you have to, or every semester you have to let us know how many assessments you have done, and then the headmaster will be checking. I was teaching private school. Every week, this headmaster will come and open all the students' exercise book and see. Then they call me, you did this 1, 2, 3 here. It was not enough. Can you add some? It's small. Yeah. Can we call that one as accountability? I think it's a good question. Purpose of accountability. Who can help our brother? Yes, Prosper Rosemary.
Yes, please. We can say it is accountability because it's dealing with digit. So far as we are dealing with the digit of the student, we can say that it is being accountable.
Okay, that is very fine. Jonas, can you talk so I proceed? Oh, Jonas, your hand is mistakenly raised. Then you can put your hand down and then. All right, maybe Jonas, you are talking. Maybe I've muted. We cannot hear you. Jamina, your hand has been up for a long time.
Yes, sir. So I can say it's an accountability because that's what the teacher will use as a basis of working to prove to the supervisors that he is working.
Okay, I think so. We can see that in terms of assessment, we have different levels. It can be from the top level, it can be from the district level, it can be from regional level, it can be even be on the school system, school-based system. That is why we have some of them in the school, in the districts, in the entire region, or in the entire even national level. So we can put accountability at every aspect because the headmaster must be accountable. You must be accountable to your HOD, and your HOD must accountable to the head of department, that is HOD, and then accountable to is it the head of academics or something? Yeah, in that order. So I think we can also say that it's accountable over there. That is okay. Let's look at section 5, which is principles of assessment. Now, having looking at why the assessment, evaluation, measurement, and other stuff, we want to look at the principle of assessment. By the end of this session, we should be able to explain some general principles of assessment and discuss some implications of these principles to mathematics instructions and learning. Now we know the principles, then what is going to be the implication in mathematics practice? Okay. Here too, you will talk more. Please, those who join us from, we have new people from Mofretro. I don't know whether I've taught you before. For my class, I don't talk a lot. You also talk. So when we are in math class, please just feel free. Just feel free. We talk, we discuss together. That's what we teach. We discuss together and then we move on. Remember, we are doing educational course, and then we should know how to teach based on student-centered. You, as a teacher, your instruction, mode of instruction should be 90% student-centered. Even now, the new GES reform is more of student-centered. Everything is about students. So let's practice that more, and then we also go out there and give it out. Okay. Having said that, let's look at, oh, sorry, I am here. Yeah. So I've talked about objectives, so we go to the general principles of assessment. That's according to Brown, 2005, rather. This 2005 recent one, Brown. So the first one is talk about that, and then you talk about the other one, student-centered assessment. The assessment process should be seen as forming an integral part of the learning process. So that is the first one, becomes the student-centered. It forms integral part of the learning process. Okay. As I've already, I think I've already made mention of the student-centeredness, so I don't need to talk more about that. But I think you understand, because for instance, when you look at the school-based assessment techniques, it's more of student-centered and it support learning. So it's better, everything you do should be student-centered. As a teacher, the assessment should be seen as forming integral part of your learning process, as I said. So your students should be your goal. You are assessing students. You are not assessing the parents. You are not impressing any teacher in the school. I remember it is one teacher who always put some questions. I don't know whether he want the whole school to see that, hey, this teacher, these math questions are very difficult. He's kind of impressive teacher. He's impressing himself. Not the student is at heart. You must have your student at heart. This work is love, or it be it's a work you are doing. Teaching is just form of work. If you do it a good heart, you can even tell government that, don't pay me, Mahama, use the money to do rules. I'm okay because I'm enjoying classroom. Don't pay me, I'm enjoying in my classroom because the work is very interesting. The students, you can never be sad in classroom. If you're a teacher and you go to school and you are sad, it means that you don't know how to manage your classroom. The day you are feeling so bad at home, even if you don't have class, go to school and teach. The students will make you laugh. They will make you happy. Then you come home, everything is gone. So teaching work is very good. So your students should be your heart, should be the goal, the center, not you want to impress somebody. You know your students are very weak students. You're putting questions nobody can solve, just to impress the school, for them to say, oh, Kofi Mensah, you ask a question, hey, this guy, the way this teacher is going to give difficult questions, then you are happy. No, and your students are getting 0, 0, 0. No. That is not student-centered assessment. Your assessment should be based on the student. You know them well. You are the one who knows them well, what they can do and what they cannot do. It doesn't mean go and give them easy question for them to get 100. No. But let your student be at your heart when you are teaching, so that you don't go to school late. If you go to school late, you don't have your student at your heart. Because if you are late, you are thinking about your student. You want to teach them. You are not done teaching. You want to go. So please make your student be your heart when you are teaching, or when you conduct assessment, Okay, that is student-centeredness. Can somebody take us to the second one? That is assessment should provide evidence of students' achievement. Yes. Now the rest you'll be explaining. Just let me see who want to explain the second one for us. Those people who came, can you help us? Stephen and Bento and other people. Those people, what are you doing? You have to talk. Okay, Stephen, go ahead, please.
All right. So looking at the that's to provide evidence of students' achievement. You see here, the teacher plays the role as the role model who facilitates students' learning in classroom. So it is based on you supporting students in their process of learning and making sure you go by the importance of mathematical ideas and practices. So it has got to do with your assessment as the evidence of you gathering all the information, knowing that whatever you've taught are well understood by students from the feedback they give, that's the evaluation. And also in the dimension of the syllabus, making sure that there's that correlation based on your teaching and the students, and then the syllabus you're also using, so that there wouldn't be infractions, but rather you are in line with everything, that the students being the center, you teacher being the role model, and then the curriculum which is guiding you as the way you should go by your teaching, sir.
All right, thank you very much. As your teacher, your major role as a teacher is facilitating student learning, and one way of supporting student learning is through assessment. And he has really explained. No need to add. Thank you very much. Anybody with the second one? That is, the assessment should be valid. Yes. Assessment should be valid. Assessment should be valid. Who is helping us?
Okay, thank you very much, sir. This is Abdallah.
Go ahead, Abdallah.
Yes, I think with this particular point, I think it is self-explanatory, because as a teacher, you must concentrate on what is intended to be taught and what also is intended to be learned by the learners. You shouldn't go overboard, and you shouldn't go beyond what is supposed to be part of your lesson delivery. Just as mentioned, it's also supposed to be in line with what the syllabus spells out for you to deliver to the learners. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you very much. We learn about validity and reliability. It's very important, so your assessment should be valid. Thank you for that. I will not add more because you still go ahead to visit validity again. Thank you, Abdallah. Then the next person, please, you should all prepare to talk. Now, assessment strategy selected should be efficient. One should use assessment should be efficient. Yes. Any hand up? Or as mentioned name, why should we say assessment should be efficient? You still have not talked. We are waiting for you. Maybe I mentioned name. Why should we say assessment should be efficient? Okay. We have about 45 people on board. Can we have Bright? Asian Bright, can you help us? Oh, Bright is not here. All right. Can we have for Ida, go ahead. Can you unmute? I think you have muted Ida.
I will say that.
Okay.
Over here, whatever, before you enter class, means you have an objective. Just as we are learning this one right now. So whatever strategy or assessment strategy that you select to be used over there, must make sure that at the end of the lesson, you've achieved whatever you've planned. It meets the time that you even set for it. And also, what other relevant support that you can give if you realize that what if the assessment that you've given to the learners, they were not able to meet the standard that you expect. If there is any remedials for you to do.
I think his network has not been consistent, or my network, I don't know.
I will just say that it's about the objective that you set for yourself. It has to be smart, as we always know.
All right, thank you very much. The class rep,
assessment, whatever.
Nkrumah and Co, the class reps, has my network been on and off?
No, sir.
Let me.
No, sir.
All right, so it is from his side, isn't it? All right, thank you. Thank you very much. I think he has done very well. And then we have Steven. Can you want to say something? You have muted because I see your hand up. Okay. That is okay. So we are talking about assessment strategy being efficient. So he talked about time, the cost, and capacity when selecting assessment method. You need to consider, because you assuming you are teaching in primary school in one village, Bosumitwe, or maybe Wali one corner, and then you want to conduct assessment, and then you want to print 10 pages or 20 pages for one person. Who is going to bear that cost? So the cost must be very important. And then the time. In as much as you want to conduct assessment regularly, doesn't mean that you should put so many questions, use the whole day for one assessment so that you cannot teach for that day. You know, that is one thing I've also observed on some of the teachers when I was in high school and then primary school. When they come and then they don't want to teach, they put so many questions and they will sit down. Students will use almost half a day or all the period they have, 1 hour or 2 hours for do assessment. Then they are sitting down. They are wasting time. Don't use that. Don't do that. It should be planned. The time is very important so they can get time to do other one. All right. So I think no need to talk more, which I already explained. We go for the fifth one. I saw hand up.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, please, can we also use assessments as our starter?
As our starter, what do you mean? Can you please go ahead?
As a starter, like the moment you enter a class and then you try to,
Assessment. Okay, so it means you're telling me that is it good to use assessment as RPK?
Yes, is it good to use assessment as your starter?
Yeah.
No, I'm sure, sir. He's trying to talk of maybe introducing a lesson with an assessment.
Yes. Can somebody explain why is it good to use assessment for that? I think I made mention from the beginning of the class.
Sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Go ahead, Abel.
I would like to answer that. We know assessments can understand the learners because we teach from known to unknown. So you have to at least know whether students have a knowledge about what you are coming to teach and then what to add to it. So I think it's good to start with questions.
All right, thank you very much. I hope you know that it's good to know your RPK very well when you want to teach, isn't it? So you should know the student RPK, what they know, that's relevant previous knowledge, RPK. I know you know it already, relevant previous knowledge. So what students know previously, I was writing in another place, so RPK, okay. What students know previously, before you can teach them. It's good. Me, sometimes I do that. Once I enter the class, take a sheet of paper, but actually that's one. You don't need to record any result about that because you are just trying to know their knowledge in what you're going to teach. So assuming you don't want to waste time, you're going to teach quadratic equation. I always use that one because today I was talking about that. We have three methods. So you can write one method, solve the equation 3x squared plus bx plus c, plus 8x plus, let's say, 9 equal to 0. Using, you mentioned them, quadratic formula, factorization method, and then what else again? Computing the squares method, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you want to teach the three that day. You give them a simple question for students to do. Now, when you go through maybe 5 minutes, you go through and see if they're able to do the factorization method very well, almost the whole class. It means you don't need to waste time there. They know it already. Just throw a small thing about it and then you proceed. So it's good to start also with assessment or some form of small thing to know the student's knowledge in the topic you are going to teach. So I think it's very fine like that. Okay. We can move on to the one who asked, are you okay with that? So we move on to, I think I muted him. There was some noise at the back. So we have the third one, Assessment should be transparent. Remember, we have just finished with the assessment strategy should be efficient. Assessment should be, yeah, those ones up, I will call you, don't worry. Assessment should be transparent. The next one is the criteria for evaluating student work should be explicit and communicated to all involved. This is where some potential teachers are missing. Here, if you joke here as a teacher, you become the enemy of your student. Please, this is very important, please. Don't become enemy of your student. Because for the love or for the family, some people have family members in their class, in the school. Now, or you have students, you like them because they are performing well or they are relating to you one or with the other. You know them somewhere, you know their parents. Now in break time, they come to you, you are sitting under the tree, they came to you, they actually say, hey, we have this month's exams, what questions are coming? You know, students like asking that, what questions are coming? Then you tell them, oh, go and learn about polynomial function, maybe polynomial function, quadratic graph, and this and this. You told those 2 students or 3 students, and then you go to class, you forget to tell the class the same thing. And that is what we are talking about, transparent. You are not being transparent here. When you do that, and they're able to tell the other student that learned, he told us quadratic, polynomial, and this, and then they go to the exams and indeed they see something like that. Those students who you didn't talk to them or didn't tell them, they now start hating you. They think you don't like them. You only love those students you have talked to them. So please, anything about your assessment, you should not, as a good teacher, you should make sure you never disclose to group of students. It should only be in classroom when everybody is there. For that matter, if the student don't come to class, that is the student's mistake. Anything about your exams, you only talk about it when you're in classroom, not when you see one student or students, your parents or your parents, friends or something. Some of them today can even give questions to some student or they tell them specifically what they go and learn. Please, it's highly, we should not do that. It's very bad practice. Sorry, you go to class, you tell them you have 5 questions, 2 questions are coming from here and here and here, and this, you are done. You are transparent. Don't go and then give to some groups of students. Another one is that principal assessment is the assessment strategy should be inclusive. All students need to be provided an equivalent opportunity to demonstrate what they have learned. So as a teacher, because you know that some students are excellently very well, they are very good students. So don't go to classroom and then because some students are good, you bring all difficult questions for those who are good to solve. What about those who are weak? You are not doing inclusion. So inclusion is very important. Inclusion is very important. So you have to provide equivalent opportunities. If the same time, everybody must be on board. And then the questions you are setting, you have to make sure you take into consideration everybody in the class, everybody's ability. That is why we don't put all the higher order questions only. Sometimes too, we may have inclusive education. People cannot write. Sorry to say that some people are disabled. They write slowly and other stuff. You know, those students must also be catered for. So assessment strategy should be inclusive. Consider all the student learning levels in your school, your class. Don't only concentrate on 3 students who are very good in class, then give the whole class question difficult. Only those 3 or 2 can do. The rest, you don't think about them. When you do that, you are not doing what you call inclusion. It also violates the teaching profession. And then the next one, because of time, we have 1 minute more to go, is assessment strategy should be reliable. We talk about reliability next semester, but it should be reliable. Your assessment should be reliable, and then you don't need to do assessment which is not reliable. And when you talk about reliable, what does it mean? When do you say assessment is reliable? Okay, so I think reliability and validity, 2 things we are going to talk about them as separate section. Okay. All right. So that is about the assessment. So this is about principle. So in this section, if you look at the principles of assessment, because of time, we are saying assessment should focus on how students learn, should be valid and reliable. It should be fair and ethical, and then should incorporate technology where appropriate. That's the principles of assessment. It should be fair One of them should be focused on student learning. It should be valid and reliable. It should be fair and ethical. And I hope you know the fair and ethical. And then technology, where appropriate. No, not everywhere you can incorporate technology, but it should incorporate. And then it's mass learning objectives. You are teaching polynomial function, and then you are doing assessment. This semester we're having 4 topics. I don't know why it's happening in some schools a lot. The topics, you take the end of exams paper, you can see that the questions are not part of what they were supposed to learn this semester. Maybe next semester or 2 semester, some teachers want to bring in. Please always remember, you are not going to impress anybody. You are only have your student at heart. So what you think students have learned is what you are giving to them. Don't let them say that this teacher said the question, then the teachers will put their name down. For the whole student to know that the questions were coming from this teacher, and then he brought some questions which is not part for them to learn. You are just disturbing them. Let's be very okay for that. When you talk about this point, strategies must learning objectives, and then strategies must serve the needs of the learners. So they are similar. It must serve the needs of the learners, and then uses multiple methods, so that don't go and use only one. So we're looking at the methods of assessment. Don't go and use only one method, use multiples of them. You must have objectives, you must have fill in, you must have writing, short and long. It's better you combine them all so that you don't put only one method. Okay, so that is the end of the section 5. Any question now? We have 5 minutes. We can quickly look at section 6 because this section I prepared them. They are just small. They are not a lot. Section 6 is about I think very few. Yeah, it's a lot. That's the characteristics of good mathematics classroom assessment. This one I don't need to teach, so you are going to teach me, and then we use that one to close. You tell me one, and then we explain. You tell me one.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, please, can you scroll the slide to the top? I want to check something. To the first.
Are you okay?
The slide. Please, can you scroll it to the top so that I want
Oh,
to
I've
check
not
something.
shared. Sorry. I've opened another one, and then sorry. I've not shared the new slide. I opened another slide. I was talking about section 6. That's I thought you were there. Sorry. I was here. This is where I was. Yes, I was here. We are done with unit 5. Section 5. We're on section 6. Sorry, I opened and then I didn't stop sharing the screen. You're okay now. So now we are here. We are looking at section 6, characteristics of good mathematics classroom assessment, and then it must have feature. And then so by the end of this section, you should be able to state and explain at least 5 of them of a good mathematics classroom assessment. What are the features? That is all. So these are the following, and I want everybody to talk about one so that we close. Don't use up to 1 minute, maybe 30 seconds to talk about one. Please, let's help ourselves so that we can finish with this section. So we start from who? The first one is being mutually beneficial. When do we see the assessment is mathematics classroom, mathematics assessment should be mutually beneficial? Yes. No idea. Okay, we have Steven.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's being mutually beneficial has got to do with both the teacher and the students acquiring active DAS participation. That's when you also undergo the steps in measurement. That's what, why, and how. That's making sure that all these strategies and then approaches are meant in the right proportion. So making sure that active participation both on the part of the students and then you, the teacher, so that there's equal benefits to both parties, sir.
All right, thank you very much, Stephen. Then we go to learner-centeredness. I think I've already explained about these things. So when do we see assessments, the features? When do we see mathematics assessment should be learner-centeredness? Yes, we have Samson Afrane. Yes.
Okay. For the second point, when you say learner centeredness, it's talking about assessment should be basically focus on the learners. You should allow or actively involve learners in it, particularly, so that you can able to drive with a good result from it.
All right, thank you. Being your learner should be your center. I've told you, let your learner be your heart of everything you are doing. Because the end product of the student, not anything, not the school building. Some people like because of the name of the school. I want to go to Prempeh, I want to go to Accra High, I want to go to Tamalikos because of the name of the school. No, 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 no. It's about the students there should be at your heart. All right. Then the next one is teacher directedness. Yes, who is helping us? Teacher directedness. Yes, we have still something again. So the rest, what are you doing? Teacher directedness. Yes, go ahead. Rosemary. Hey, that is yeah, go ahead.
Right. So
17.
when we talk about the teacher
Yeah, go ahead.
directedness,
Okay.
it refers to the teacher controlling the class during the teaching, monitoring the children during the teaching, giving assessment during the teaching and learning. So we say
Uh,
the classroom assessment respect the autonomy, academic freedom, and the professional judgment of the teachers. Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. So it should be teacher directedness. The teacher should be everything. Don't go and call headmaster to come and do that assessment in your classroom. You, the teacher, you are the boss of the class. And then it should be context specific. It should be context specific. Okay. Yes, who is helping us context specific? All right, because of time. Yes. Lordly. Abochi. Abochi, yeah. Lordly.
When we say it should be context specific, yeah, talking about a situation where the assessment should meet a specific need of the student. Thank you.
All right, so it should be specific needs. So, but yeah, for students, and then because maybe you want to measure the student geometry, you want to measure student level of. It depends on what you are measuring, so that you cannot put everything at a go. Even WASI does not put everything at a go. You see that at the end of the semester, your exams are going to be different. One will measure you in assessment, mass education. One will measure you in advanced calculus one. They cannot combine advanced calculus and then assessment together as one exams. No, that is not specific. All right. And then we have the need for it to be built on a good teaching practices. You know that your record of classroom assessment should be used to build existing good teaching practices. So you should strive to make it more systematic, more feasible, and more effective. And because of time, I think it's time feedback loop that is ongoing. One is that classroom assessment should be an ongoing process, a process of creating and maintaining a classroom feedback loop. Such a loop should make room for changes to be made based on the classroom result and student feedback. That's why it should be feedback loop that is ongoing. You get the feedback from the student. You know, when you say something is a loop, you do the assessment, you get the feedback from the student, then help you, the teacher, do the teaching. All right, because of time, we will end here and we have almost even done. And you can read the rest for, just go ahead and read the rest. And then for the assessments or the features or the characteristics of good classroom mathematics assessment. With that note, the lesson will end here. Some students have class in the afternoon. Make sure you join on time. Any question, any addition, subtraction?
Sir,
Yes, something. Go ahead.
it is context specific. Can you say it should be within the curriculum?
Maybe you can be specific. Can you explain further? It should be in the curriculum, as in.
the curriculum gives specific objectives, and then
Yeah.
so your
Yeah,
assessment
yeah.
will
The
be
contest it can be maybe too specific combining together. For instance, you want to measure a certain specific thing. For instance, maybe you want to combine two. Curriculum has given you specific objective. You are done with maybe linear equation is one objective. It also give another one. Quadratic equations. Now you want to combine two. You may be able to combine two, or it can be one, or it can even be less than one of the objectives. You understand? So what you are going to measure should be just specific.
Yes, sir.
Are you okay with that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other addition, subtraction? Okay. With that note, I'll say that have a very good morning, and then in the afternoon we shall meet.
Right, sir.
Okay. The class for I hope it's time. Is it time on your end?
Yes, please. It is. Yeah.
All right. Because
Thank you
my
so much,
end-
sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
So thank you very much.
Welcome.